you for coming. No pun intended. My name is Dema, founders of Vibease, the smart vibrator. Today I'm going to talk about sex. To be more specific, I'm going to talk about female orgasm, technology, and all the buzzword about chatbot, artificial intelligence. And yeah, since we talk about AI, could we use AI for sexuality? I'm a tech founder, so I'm not a sexologist, but along the way, while I'm building my product, a lot of people came to me, a lot of men asking about sex, a lot of women asking me about how to solve their relationship. You might want to ask wait, you're a man, what do you know about female orgasm, right? Precisely, I didn't know much about female orgasm before that. And now I feel kind of while I'm working on my product, as I started to learn a little bit more about women. I have a little bit more knowledge than a lot of men, but still not any better than a woman. And today, still, female orgasm is actually still a mystery, right? A lot of research, a lot of university, hospitals still do a lot of research about female orgasm. So the thing is, why is a mystery? Because orgasm for a man, it is part of the reproduction process, right? And it's a kind of a byproduct when men have sex. But for female orgasm, it has nothing to do with reproduction. So the question is why do we even talk about sex in tech event, right? So the main thing is that if we look at this Maslow hierarchy of needs, sex is all the way at the bottom. It's a basic needs of human. And if we look a little bit higher, sex is actually still part of our psychological needs. We need an intimate relationship. So because of that, sex is really important in our life. And sex is part of the basic needs together with food and shelter. But the thing is, sex has the least attention compared to the rest, right? It is a taboo subject. People don't really talk about it in public. And because it's taboo, when people don't have their basic needs fulfilled, they're kind of too shy to talk about it. And sometimes they assume everyone's having the same problem. So the background. Okay, so to tell you a little bit background why I'm working on smart vibrator, I used to work as a software engineer in a bank. I was in Boston and my wife was in Singapore. So I was in long distance. So the hardest part about long distance is basically is the lack of physical intimacy, because we did a lot of research. Lack of intimacy is one of the highest reasons on why couples break up. So I was in long distance, although we are kind of connected over the Skype, over the phone, voicemail, everything, but yeah, definitely something is missing. So I started to kind of well, maybe there's a solution to help us to have a long distance intimacy, right? So while I'm in Boston and my wife's there, but I couldn't find anything that was easy to use and not invasive. I mean, they do, I think that time they do have some sort of product which comes from the porn industry. It has a camera, it has a big dildo, and the purpose for that is not for women pleasure, but it's more for the guys to watch it and then kind of controlling it, right? And if I ever want to use that with my wife, I think she's going to slap me. What do you think? So I thought, okay, yeah, that's not going to work. So I decided maybe I can create it myself, right? So I studied computer science. I have knowledge a little bit about electronics. So I did it as a fun project, and my wife just laughed about it. But still, I started to kind of really interested to know more about what is important in a relationship, right? What are the important parts? What are the important things for women, and including female orgasm? So this is my product. So this is Vibease, is the world's first smart vibrator. So this is not the first prototype that we had. This is the product that already in the market in the US and Europe. So we launched the first product in 2011. And with this, the whole idea is that we want to have people to have long distance intimacy. Maybe it's much easier if we just look at the video and pretty much how it works. So the Android phone is the guy and the iPhone is the girl. So basically this can be from anywhere as long as you have an internet. And yeah, we build like a built-in text messaging system. The main thing is we want couples to have communication, right? Okay, so yeah, it started. And we also make sure like women in control. So before like the guy can send a vibration, he has to ask for your permission, right? Because the earlier product is like when we gave it to guy, it's like they keep pressing it, so they think it's like a game. Yeah. So and the purpose we did this is not for just a foreplay, because like we really want to help women to like reach orgasm. So yeah, a little bit like what we have. I mean, like this some sort of milestone that we already have. So we are pretty lucky that being nominated for Crunchies Award. Recently we got voted by Wired magazine as the best adult gadget, right? Which is really good. And so when we talk about sex, it's of course we're talking about orgasm, right? But it's just weird, like if you have sex but you don't have orgasm. I'm not sure whether we still can call that as a sex, right? It's more become like a job as a duty. And orgasm has a lot of benefit. I mean, first of all, it feels good. It feels like out of this world, right? And on top of that, actually, orgasm is really healthy. I mean, it helps you to sleep. It helps you to really stress. Yeah, and there's a lot of things with orgasm. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is with orgasm, we know that it is good, right? But the thing is, like, if we don't have regular orgasm, I think we're kind of missing something in life. So, okay, this is the problem that we are trying to solve. So while we are talking to a lot of people, so like building a product, so we talk to including doctor, right, the sexologist. One of the sexologists asked me, like, do you know that more than half women did not have frequent orgasm when they're having sex? Which is like, I thought, wow, that's really high number, right? And 25% women actually never have an orgasm. And I thought, like, wow, this is really interesting. And I started to want to learn why is that so? Because like as most men, we always think like, yeah, we are doing pretty well, right? But yeah, it's kind of surprised me. So I thought like, yeah, maybe I can do something about it. And I really like the theme of the festival, which is like challenging the status quo, right? The status quo right now is that female orgasm is something like, it's good to have, it's not a mandatory. And men believe every woman get orgasm every time like they're having sex. It is hard for men to kind of understand why women will like reject sex, because like, well, you're having sex, you have orgasm, it feels really good, right? I mean, it's hard for some men like to understand that. But the problem is that men didn't know, like, yeah, most women like did not have orgasm, right? That's why like they are not really interested with it. And for most women, a lot of even magazine is telling women that, oh, it's fine for you not to have orgasm as long as you have love, as long like your relation is really good, right? So, but I don't think you can tell that to a guy, right? So we cannot tell a guy like, okay, let's have sex, but you cannot have orgasm. Like the guy will say like, oh, that's crazy. But I think that is what's happening right now. And it's hard for a man to imagine like women actually having difficulty to have female orgasm, because for guys it's most of the time like, yeah, if we have sex, we have an orgasm. So I would like to have all the men here kind of try to imagine that you're having a good time having sex, right, with your partner. And then halfway, well, it feels really good. Suddenly your girlfriend say, oh, I'm having a headache, right? Stop, I forgot my laundry. And then because of that, you have to stop, right? And then your girlfriend doesn't allow you to finish by yourself. So you can feel like, wow, there's so much frustration in that, right? You feel like you go in halfway and then stop. And because of that, if this happens like 3 times a week and it happens for a month, I don't know how you're going to feel that, right, as a guy. So, but this is just a kind of case for you to imagine, like, why you should like pay a little bit more attention for female orgasm. Uh, so, yeah, this is the next question. Well, as a guy, okay, that sounds good, but what should I do? Like, why should I really care about female orgasm? First of all, it definitely improves your relationship, right? So if you're happy and if the guy is happy, the woman is happy, that your relationship is very smooth, right? It's become very romantic, you can talk a lot of stuff, and you have less fight. And we also have a bonus, right? Which is you will have more sex in your relationship, right? I got a lot of this complaint, a lot of husband, like a lot of friends telling me like, oh, I got a problem. I mean, like my wife didn't want to have sex. Like, what should I do? Yeah, of course, nobody wants to have sex with you if because you are the only one enjoying doing it, right? And while the wife is like, oh, okay, so when it's done, she got nothing. So if both happy, yeah, then most likely you will have more sex too. Okay, of course with consent. If you're not in relationship, right? If you're guys that really pay attention about female orgasm, you will stand out among other guys, right? Because like, you know, like more than half women out there did not attain orgasm during sex. And I believe the world will be a better place when women can have orgasm as much as men do. It is part of human basic needs. And if you're happy, happy people will be more creative, happy people will be more productive, to quote Alex Fox earlier this morning. So, because somehow people always think like, oh, if women don't reach orgasm, there must be something wrong with her, right? So people's coming out with a lot of excuses, totally understand. But today we want to see from different perspective, from different angle. Why don't we talk about 3 reasons why men can't give women orgasm? So the reason number 1, right? This is going to be very interesting. Is a biological differences, right? For men and women, actually, like, yeah, we are pretty much different. Women typically will need about 10 to 20 minutes to reach orgasm, to reach climax. And guess what? How many minutes that guys need to reach climax? I mean, most of the guys here like half an hour, 45 minutes, right? But the truth is that most men is like 2 to 10 minutes, right? This is based on statistics, based on science. And the funny thing is that when you are in the early relationship, the guys perform really well. He put a lot of effort, right? The guy can last like half an hour, 45 minutes. Like, it was so amazing. But along the way, when you are in the relationship for quite some time, then the performance starts to drop. Especially after you get married, you get a kids, you have kids, and then the guy's performance maybe dropped all the way to 2 minutes, right? So it's like the wife is like, oh shit. And of course, like age affect your libido as well, like your performance, everything. But the main thing, like why we have to talk about this is that all the people should be feels it is okay to like if you only like last for 5 minutes, right? I guess there's no one here will say like, oh, I only last for 5 minutes, right? All the guys say like I last for 30 minutes, right? But deep down over there, a lot of guys really concerned like, oh, I'm not really good in bed. But with this statistic, it's perfectly okay. Like if you last fast or long, it doesn't matter, right? You shouldn't be stressed with that. So the reason number 2, like why women have less orgasm, is because the porn movie and including some of the romantic movie become the default sex education. People fail to understand porn is actually entertainment. It's not a documentary from Nat Geo or Discovery, right? So when people watch that, like they always feel like, yeah, this is something that I have to learn. This is something that I have to follow. And most porn is actually is meant for the man pleasure, right? But most of us, maybe not most of us here, maybe the guys out there somewhere else, we think, yeah, this is for. It's also pleasure the woman, right? So we watch the movie and we think like, oh, this is the best way to do it. But it's always focused on size and stamina, and people have been watching this for a pretty long time, and it starts to kind of sink into your mind that that is a standard of how people are having sex. That's how you're going to get like pleasure. And of course, porn always paints like unrealistic goal, which is like sometimes it lasts for 45 minutes, for 1 hour. And the funny thing is that I've been to a lot of conferences. Like, this is really amazing to be at festival, but I also go to like the adult conferences, right? Which is super fun. So when I was there, actually, I met people who are working in the porn industry, and one of the director actually told me some secret, which I think is really useful for a lot of people here. Let me pick. So a lot of porn movie, although it looks like it's only like 20 minutes, actually takes many days for them to shoot that, right? So that's one of the reasons it seems like the guy can last pretty long. And then many of the actor actually like they take some sort of pills or enhancements to help them to last longer. And the last one, some of the people, the actor is actually kind of trained. It's more like an athlete, right? But yeah, that's some of the secret why it looks like some of the guys in the porn movie can last really long. So yeah, again, it's an entertainment. Yes, this is an interesting thing, right? So when we watch action movie like Jason Bourne, this guy jumped from like 5th story all the way down and he didn't injure it at all, right? So we know it's a movie. It's like either using a stuntman, it's visual effect, like all this stuff, right? And we know we are not going to try to imitate that in our daily life. But somehow in porn, like we fail to understand that. We fail to apply the same logic, right? Because if we really understand that porn is actually entertainment, we shouldn't follow it. Yeah, but I guess when you watch porn, like a lot of your blood starts to going down, and then it's hard for you to like think very clearly. Oh, so I love Cindy Gallup. She's the founder of Make Love Not Porn. So she's doing a lot of work to make sure people can differentiate between the porn and the real sex. And well, I mean, guys are really into porn, but for women also they are kind of affected by a lot of romantic movie, right? Because like when we watch a lot of this romance movie, it seems like, wow, the guy and the girl always came together, right? It's so romantic. And this kind of also at the same time set an expectation for women that you have to come at the same times when the guys come. But technically it's a little bit difficult because we know like guys really doesn't last really long and women can last really long. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not a problem if like it takes longer for women to reach orgasm. Just enjoy the journey, right? So don't feel bad. It's like, oh, it seems like it takes longer than what people expected. Do you know that men will pay millions of dollars so that they can last longer, right? So now there's a lot of pharmaceutical company is making a pill so that you can last longer. So I think the thing about it is it's not fair for women that if the guys say like, can you come faster, right? Because like the guys, we want to have a longer experience. So the reason number 3 is that why women have less female orgasm is because like lack of communication. So 70% women actually fake orgasm. And some of the reason is basically because they feel they want to appreciate the partner. At the same time, sometimes they also feel like, oh, this is not going anywhere, right? So they want to end it quickly. But you could like tell him honestly, right? So there's a way to tell your partner is that, I mean, you can say it with love, like not like judging him like, oh, how could you like last really fast, right? So you can say it really nice. Hey, honey, I'm not done here yet, but could you help me here, right? So there's another thing that, but I know still, I got problem with one of people that I know. So it's like she bring this vibrator together with her husband, and then her husband is really offended, right? Because like, am I not good enough? But I guess I was telling, since then we learned, right? The best way to talk to men about this is that we have to tell them about the statistic, right? So on average, guys only last like 2 to 10 minutes. And then the husband is kind of like, oh yeah? So I'm not the only one that's really bad. So that's one of the ways to tell him about the statistic. So yeah, along the way while I'm working on this product, so we start to learn what are the key factors to female orgasm. Of course, it has to do with a lot of listening, emotion, fantasy, And of course, the last one, guys, please pay attention to this, is clitoral stimulation, right? So if you have to go back and you can forget everything that you learned from this session, you must remember this one. Clitoral stimulation is the most important thing. Because yeah, I mean, like when you watch porn, it's always about the inside, but actually it's not about that. The next question is like, okay, so since we talk about so much about female orgasm, so why a vibrator? So 80% women that had orgasm had a clitoral stimulation, right? And guys, we know foreplay is a hard work, right? So we saw so many magazines, like they give you tips how to do foreplay, everything, but we know it's kind of hard work, right? So it's okay, I'm here to help, right? So if you're too tired, right? I mean, you can use a tool, which is called vibrator. The research shows that women that use vibrator, they have so much more sexual satisfaction. And not many people know vibrator was invented as a medical device by a doctor. And even like the original vibrator, it was meant for clitoral stimulation. It's not like the one that you see on the shelf, like the really big thing and all that thing. The explicit shape is actually, all those comes from like the porn industry. The good news is that you don't have to worry. Vibrator is not going to replace you, replace men, because women still need like emotional connection. It's not only like the mechanical part. Okay, this is interesting. So I started as a long distance thing. Then we started to talk to more women to understand. And it's funny, the more I talk to women, the more I try to understand what is really important. So this is the thing that women say, like, oh, I like 50 Shades of Grey. I'm not going to use your long distance thing. Okay, that's fine. And we thought like, well, maybe there's something we can do about it. So finally we do like what we call fantasy comes to life. The idea is that women listen to, wait, let me show you the product. Women listen to the audiobook. When the guy say I'm touching it softly, it will vibrate softly. When the guy say I'm touching hard, it vibrates hard. And the way we designed this is that this is wearable. So like you don't have to touch it at all. You just put it there, the pants will hold it, right? Because we try to simulate the real intimacy where basically your hands is free and you don't know what is coming next. So yeah, this is the video that we shot a few months ago to explain how it works.
Chapter 5. Johnny whispered to me,
Jessica, I might kiss you.
He pulled me close, and I felt my senses come alive. I could feel myself blushing, my heart beating faster. I was falling for him.
Welcome to my playground. If you follow my rules, I'll reward you. If you don't, I'll punish you.
Samantha!
Dylan?
I never forgot about you. Samantha, I love you. I've always loved you.
Finally, Dylan and I were together again. I felt a warmth inside me, passion I hadn't felt in years. It kept rising, surging, until finally...
Oh no!
Yes!
Vibease. Fantasy comes to life. Hey Sammy, you here?
Okay, so I'm going to show you something cool. So we have been talking about artificial intelligence. Let's look at, I mean, like people always have imagination. When are we going to start to have sex with robot?
You want to see something cool?
This is really cool. One of the best movie.
You are dead center of the greatest scientific event in the history of man.
Hello.
Hi. Do you have a name?
Ava.
Answer me this. How do you feel about her?
Her AI is beyond doubt.
No, nothing analytical. Just how do you feel?
I feel that she's amazing.
Good. Does Ava actually like you, or is she just pretending to like you? Self-awareness, manipulation, sexuality.
Are you attracted to me?
Now, if that isn't true AI, what is?
Okay, this is really good. But I think it will still take us like many years for us to reach like, I don't know, maybe another 10 years or maybe 15 years. But the thing is that I feel, okay, so that's still wait for a long time. But what can we do with artificial intelligence in terms of like for sexuality? And I watched this movie, Her.
Mr. Theodore Twombly, welcome
Yeah,
to the
this
world's
is
first
one of the
artificially intelligent
best AI
operating
movie
system.
I ever
We'd
seen.
like to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
Thank you. Please wait as your operating system is initiated.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Samantha. Good morning, Theodore.
Good morning.
You have a meeting in 5 minutes. You wanted to try getting out of bed?
You're too funny.
Okay, good, I'm funny. I want to learn everything about everything.
I love the way you look at the world.
How long before you're ready to date?
What do you mean?
I saw in your emails that you'd gone through a breakup.
Well, you're kind of nosy.
What's it like to be alive in that room right now?
I wish I could put my arms around you. Wish I could touch you.
How would you touch me?
Okay, the best thing about this movie, if you ever watch it, you feel it looks so natural for a guy to date the app, right? It's basically artificial intelligence is an app. So we thought like, could we do something similar to that, right? So earlier I said like vibrator is not going to replace a man. Well, I lied. So this is another thing that we're working on right now. So it's not available in public yet.
Massage me.
Connecting to a device. Connected.
Begin.
How about we start slow? Can you feel me with you right now?
Faster. Surprise me.
How about this?
Oh my god. Okay. Thank you. Whew.
I miss you so much.
I love you, him.
So yeah, currently we are working on this. Well, the part that I say like AI is not going to replace man. Well, yes and no. So AI is going to replace men that don't pay attention to female orgasm, right? So guys, you have to up your performance, right? So you make sure like there's no AI is going to beat you. So yeah, I think that is pretty much like the talk that I have. So I hope you really enjoy it and thank you. If you have any question, yeah, you can ask me. It's not only about like the vibrator. If you want to know about like how I created a product from concept all the way to mass manufacturing in China, I'm happy to let you know too. Any question? Oh.
So you said you created that to overcome the long distance relationship.
Yeah.
But is that still fun to use with two people in the same bed? Or would you recommend different tools then?
Yeah, I mean like the one that we designed, it can be used for long distance, but it also can be used at the same time at the same place, right? So if it's together in the bedroom, you don't even have to use the app. The app is like, yeah, just additional things that you can do about the product. Okay. Any more questions? Cool. If you guys are interested with the product, like just go to the website, and I think there are some distributors in Europe are already selling this. Okay, thank you.